Yo. Make sure my make sure I can hear myself. Testing, 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 testing. Alrighty. If you're coming on, good evening. Welcome to Fanning the Flame, which is the title of my blog. So my lives just go in tune with that. For those of you who is your first time actually tuning into one of my lives, welcome. Welcome. I am Zoe D. I go by Zoe D rather. And I talk about all things related to sexual purity and marriage. This topic just so happens to be related to marriage, and one of the most I don't even know how to describe it. One of the most controversial topics I've probably ever spoke on, which is polygyny. But we're not necessarily going to talk about polygyny. The topic, as it says, is the hypocrisy of monogamy. Hopefully I spelled that right. So Poly by Nature is an upcoming project that my Lord and I are working on. And so I want to give you guys a sneak peek of what's coming behind that, because as I've said, this is definitely a fiery topic. Shalom, shalom. So I'll just jump into it. Like, I hope you guys are doing good. If you will, you come in, take a minute, and please share. I'm going to kind of hit some points, not all of the points, because like I said, this is just a preview of the upcoming project, Poly by Nature, which if you've read the first title of my book, or if you've read the book, My Man is Her Man Too, which is what my latest, if you go on my Zoe Davis page, there's a video, which is a book promotion. That is an ebook that promotes for the promotion of Poly by Nature, semicolon, My Man is Her Man Too, where I give an introduction to my beliefs into biblical polygyny. And so there will be another half of that coming out called My Man is Her Man Too, but it's different. My Man is Her Man Too is more of a question, like, are you for real? And then My Man is Her Man Too, the next book that's coming out, is like, yes, he is. My man is her man too. Like, I'm totally in love with this sisterhood. So, but today we're going to talk about the hypocrisy of monogamy. And I really have steered away from talking about monogamy as a whole, because I'm not here to be offensive to anyone, but especially anyone's choice in marriage or lifestyle or whatever. I honestly have no problem with anyone who claims to be practicing monogamy. That's your business. That's not my business, right? And I really don't judge that. I do recognize monogamy as a biblical form of marriage. I do recognize that there were monogamous marriages in the scriptures. So I, disclaimer, am not saying that all marriages that are Bible based have to be monogamous, right? So I don't really want to tussle with you guys as far as whether monogamy is right or wrong. Like, it's a form of marriage. Like, I don't believe that every single marriage has to be polygynous. I've never said that. But what I do see a lot of time in monogamy is hypocrisy. And when I see that, I'm like, you do better off just being polygynous. Like, what are you doing? So the first snippet is we're going to talk about forced monogamy. I stated this probably a couple of weeks ago, and I said that forced monogamy is unbiblical. And I had several comments that were pretty much saying that, well, you can't force a man to do anything. And I proceeded with asking the question, well, so if your husband, whom you love, decides that he just has fallen in love with another woman, you're going to invite that woman into your household. You're going to accept that. You're going to honor her as someone that your husband loves. And, you know, this young lady who I wholly respect, she said, well, no, we would have to go our separate ways. And so I'm like, well, that's forced monogamy, and that's not biblical, because you don't have a stance to divorce or leave your husband if he decides that he wants to expand his household with another woman. That is not biblical, because the biblical definition of adultery is not based on that principle that we've been taught for the most part, right? So that's hypocrisy. Like, that is complete hypocrisy. You, as a woman, forcing a man to basically stay monogamous with you, and he makes a declaration that he doesn't want to be, or you find out that he's cheating and sneaking, because he already knows that if he finds out, or if he's honest with you, and a lot of y'all do not want men to be honest, because if he's honest with you, you basically disregard his honesty, right? And so y'all let me know if y'all can still, I'm on my Facebook to make sure that my service is not giving out on me. So give me a shalom. I'm live on a couple of other pages too, so we'll just see how this goes. So anyway, so that's not biblical. Okay, that's not biblical. There's nothing in the scriptures that says if your husband decides to take another wife, then you have the right to divorce him, that he has been unfaithful to him. So that is hypocrisy, because why do you feel like you have that much control? And most of you guys, and myself included, and I'm telling myself, like, I'm gonna give a couple of aspects where I really should have known that polygyny wouldn't even been a problem with me early on in my life. Most of us as women have no problem with our husbands until it comes to the idea of him with another woman. You have no problem with him. Thank you, Daniel. You have no problem with him. He comes home, he's the perfect man, but then the minute you realize that he's also the perfect man to another sister, like, all hell literally breaks loose. And I've been there. Like, I'm not saying anything that I haven't myself experienced, you know what I'm saying? But as I was reflecting back on this, it's like, you know what, it really just could have all been so simple had I known the truth of biblical marriage, that every biblical marriage was not required to be monogamous. And so the first hypocrisy is the fact that a lot of women, a lot of wives claim that they are biblical wives, but yet and still you do not honor or respect or even acknowledge that polygyny is a biblical form of marriage. So you live in this world where it's your way or no way. And what man, like, let's be honest, if a man has settled down with you, he loves you, you've borne his seed, what man is gonna want to lose you? And I know y'all think, well, if he don't want to lose me, then he should only be with me. Well, they're not wired like that, a lot of men. And we should know that, because even when in high school, in middle school, in elementary, it's always been, I've always experienced, oh, well, he's got that girl and that girl and that girl, because men aren't even taught to really settle down until they're like way over in their 30s or something, right? Like, it's not that. We're taught as women, okay, you be with one person, and men are like, how many you got? And for some, I'm not saying like they need to be out here just sleeping with every and anything, right? But the Bible requires them to cover anyone that they sleep with. The Bible has already made provisions for that man's nature. If he sees Jessica over here, and then he wants Rebecca, and then he wants Lacey too. Like, the Bible has already made provision. You can have your cake and eat it too. Like, you can do that. As men, they can do that. Women were not required. Women were not held to that same standard. And so, the moving on to the next hypocrisy in that is, a lot of us as women come already defiled from our lack of knowledge and being thrown into this whoredom over here, where we've had sexual partners, several sexual partners. So a lot of us aren't even presenting our bodies pure to this man. Like, it's a different game. It's not a game, but it's a different measure of expectation. Nature is different for them. And to force a man into the nature that you desire him to be is hypocrisy. It's literally hypocrisy, because if it came naturally, you wouldn't have to force him to do it. If you have a man that literally says, I want you and only you for the rest of my life, and I'm not changing my mind, I don't ever plan on changing my mind, that means you ain't sneaking up behind this man, making sure that he's being faithful to just only you. That means you can bring a sister around him and you ain't worried about if he's gonna if he's gonna want that woman. That means that you don't have to be, you will be able to be completely free, that your husband has eyes for only you and only you for the rest of your life. But a lot of women do not have that security, because somewhere along the line you believe that it's in a man's nature to want more than one woman, so you gotta help him be faithful. You gotta hold him accountable to being faithful to you. You gotta check his Facebook. You gotta check his messages. He can't even have Facebook. Like, me and my ex had times where he would just get off Facebook because it was too much temptation. Like, as I think about this stuff, I'm like, oh my God, so much wasted energy. And for what? Like, for what? Just for there to be another woman and another woman and another woman? Like, you're not gonna keep a man from being desirable by other women, first of all, and you're not going to keep him from desiring other women, and that is not lustful. That's not lustful. If they are honest in their nature, then that is just what their nature is calling them to do. It's just as natural as you having to use the bathroom when you ate too much. So to force, to threaten, to take everything from a man that truly loves you and not honor and respect the fact that he can love someone else in that capacity is hypocritical to me. I was thinking about this, and this is what really, I was like, I'm gonna talk about this, because if you've been following me, you know I'm just gonna give my testimony. Like, I'm just gonna keep it real by giving you like where I've stood. So I remember this relationship, and it's funny now because it's like, oh my God, like so much drama and for what? But I remember this relationship, and I talk about it in one of my books, and I just talk about how like I really was in love with this man, and he could have told me to kiss the ground he walked on, and I probably would have done it, because I was so assimilated with him. And me understanding sex now, and how when you as a woman have sex with a man, he deposits his DNA inside of you. You literally, when the Bible says two become one, you literally become one with that man. Now, let me stop, because a lot of you will try to use that as well, the Bible says two will become one flesh. That's talking about sex. That has nothing to do as a requirement for him to only be with one woman. If he's one flesh with you because he's had sex with you, he's going to be one flesh with the next woman too, because he has sex with them. So get out of trying to make the Bible say what you want it to say. Okay, so carrying on. So this thank you, Daniel. This guy, now we've been together for a while. I hadn't been with anybody else besides him, the whole time we were together. And but he was seeing like this other lady, and I kind of knew about the other lady, but she didn't stay in the city with us, so I never really saw them. But I knew that he wasn't just dealing with me, and it was just one of those things where it's like, I don't see it. you know, whatever it is, what it is. And I told him up front, like, I'm not going to ask questions I don't want to know, right? Hypocrisy, because a lot of us as wives are operating in that. As long as he coming home, as long as I don't find out, as long as he ain't bringing drama to my door, what are you really saying then? He might be over there with old girl and you know it, but as long as he coming home, you're gonna sweep it under the rug. Anyway, so long story short, the girl and I, the lady and I, we end up having a conversation, and we end up kind of developing a relationship. Now, me being the type of person that I am, if I don't like you, I don't like you. Like, there's nothing that you're gonna do for me that will make me like you or want to be in your presence. I genuinely like this woman. I could see why he liked her. I had no problem with this woman. The problem was I still wanted him. And the problem was I didn't understand how she was dealing with other people, and he was committed to her, and I wanted him. But nevertheless, I had no problems with this lady at all. And still to this day, like, we went through so much drama with this guy. It was like, you know what, I respect you. Like, I don't have anything against you. And once I found out other information, it was like, you know what, I'm apologizing. I'm letting her know, like, look, I don't have any hard feelings towards you, and I wouldn't, as a sister, do anything to intentionally hurt you. Because again, it wasn't that he was just lying. He just didn't really put stuff out there. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't ask questions. I learned that if I don't want to know, I love this man. Like, I really loved him. And it was just like, you know what? If I know the truth, I'm probably not going to deal with him. So whatever. Just don't bring me drama. That was my thing. Like, don't bring me no drama. I don't want to deal with no kids, and I don't want to deal with no drama. That was me. So I had a reflection of that because I was thinking about this song, and in the song, I was like, oh, such and such used to listen to that song. And it hit me, and I was like, you know, we was in love with this man. We probably, in more mature emotions, could have literally had a polygynous union. And it wouldn't have been chaotic. It wouldn't have been no drama. We would have dealt with how we dealt, and it would have been fine because you love him. I love him. Clearly, he wants the both of us. What's the big deal? And that's why I say sometimes monogamy can be hypocritical, because are you really living in the truth of this man's nature? Now, even when I got with him, like, somebody, they was like, yeah, he a hoe. And I was like, well, he my hoe. I mean, like, what do you want me to say? Like, we as women, we know what we're dealing with. Come on now. Like, we know what we're dealing with. And I would have thought, like, the way that my husband got slashed, and I've lost relationships, business partners, and everything behind my standing and me being vocal about polygyny, because I guess, you know, people have their own judgments, and you can judge all you want to, but at the end of the day, you're not judging me, you're judging scripture. And I've learned to just kind of like throw it off my shoulder, because why? I mean, why would I, if you bring me a biblical truth that I can't deny, why would I feel some type of way towards you? But yet and still, we've lost a lot of relationships, and we've had very intense moments with this. And some of y'all still probably watching me, they still can't stand me. I ain't figured you out yet, but y'all probably still can't stand the fact that we're not hiding the fact that my husband is polygynous, because why? I would have thought the man would have came out and y'all, the way some of y'all acted, y'all would have thought he was gay or something. Like, y'all would have probably accepted him if I said, well, my husband's bisexual. Like, it's crazy. It's really crazy. It's hypocritical is what it is, because the same people that judge us from our hometown for him being openly polygynous judged me and talked about me when I was with a man that literally was secretly polygynous and knew about it and talked about it. So what is the problem? It's hypocritical. And I realized one of the reasons why that situation probably would have worked out with their ex is because it was never a thing where it was so hidden. It was just like, okay, she's here and you're here. Can a married man today have a concubine? Honestly, this is my take on the whole concubine thing, and I've kind of studied that. A lot of women are more so in the concubine status than the wife status. If we're talking biblical, because most women aren't even virgins. So I won't get into the doctrine behind that. As far as can a married man today have a concubine biblically, I'm not going to get into that doctrine. I may just do another video on it so I can literally break down some study that I've done personally, and then you can take whatever you want from it. But I believe that status is solely based on assimilation in a sense. But then there's biblical definition of a concubine, because some would say, okay, well, it would be of a heathen nation, a woman of a heathen nation. So I won't get into the specifics, Daniel, into that on this live, if respectfully. So just from a hypocritical point of view or judgmental point of view, I definitely don't understand why we receive the hatred. I'm just gonna put it out there, hatred, but it's the word, and I think ultimately it's selfishness. But anyway, I'm not gonna go into that. So I remember another situation, really with this same guy, that I knew another woman was in the picture. I knew about her, and I was like, okay, well, I'm here. And she knew about me because she would pop up at my house when he was with me. But you're trying to force him to not spend time with me. Like, it's hypocrisy, because if a man is truly showing you that he is not settling down with only one woman, what are you doing in your mindset to make him try to be monogamous? Like, what are you standing on with that? And then you go from Jim to Joe to Parker to all these type of men, and you have this mindset like, oh, well, it must be the men, it must be the men. Maybe something hasn't clicked in your mind. Are you truly dating or dealing with a fully monogamous man? Once again, because I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with monogamy. If you have a man that truly is monogamous and he knows that nobody else excites him and he don't plan, if that's cool, that's totally cool. I accept that. What I don't accept is the lies that you're telling yourself to not live in the reality that majority of men, especially men that have my skin tone, are polygynous by nature. That's why the title of the project is called Poly by Nature. I'll do you one even better. So you got a man now and you've been with him and he's not been with anybody else for 10, 15, 20 years. Cool. Was he always like that? Was he always like that? Or has it always only been this one man with one woman every single time he was with one woman? Come on now. So, driving deeper into this hypocrisy, we have a side chick culture. I know, because I've had to deal with plenty of what I would have called side chicks, right? We have women that will brag about and only want to be the side chick. It's cool with sneaking. You don't have no problem with it. And I shared a post from one of the brothers the other day, and he said, I had way more success with women when I was sneaking, being monogamous, than I do being openly polygynous. Why is that? And it creates a division of wives who want to force monogamy, and then side chicks who literally have no problem sharing. And so it's like we women, we just at each other's throats. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm the wife, and I gotta. When the simpler thing would be, he really loves us both, or he really loves all of us. Nice to meet you. Literally dealt with another situation, and I was married, and I found out that my ex was with this young lady, and it hurt me to the core because he really, 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 really actually, like, from my intel, from the stuff that I found, he really liked this woman. He was really into this woman, and I was pregnant at the time, and it blew her mind that when I found out about them, he didn't leave me. And I remember reading a conversation. She was like, I would have thought it would have been over with her finding out about me, or are you gonna leave once she has the baby? That's the mindset of a lot of us as women. We don't have no problem being a side chick if we really want a man. The problem, the hypocrisy comes in when you want to be the only one that this man's attention is on. So you'll be there and you'll try to lull him away from who he's with because you want to be the one to say, okay, she's not gonna do this, I will. She's not. And we have this mentality. A lot of times I've seen it over and over again, and y'all probably have too. If the wife was doing everything at home, he wouldn't need to step outside. I've come to find out that that's just a lie. And I can be honest with myself, and I can say that, my ex and I probably would have never been the woman that he wanted. I was the woman that he wanted in certain aspects, and that's all I could be. And for me to try to force myself to be every aspect of the woman that he wanted would have been a drain to me. So what polygyny has allowed me to understand is I am who I am, and my husband loves who I am. But then there may be another woman that he likes another aspect of her with, and I may not bring that to the table. That doesn't take away from my value. That doesn't take away from who I am as a wife to him. That doesn't take away from anything that I bring into his life. And that doesn't mean that he's not satisfied with what I bring into his life. He just may find another pleasure in the way that she thinks about certain things. My husband is a sports geek for the most part. Sometimes when he's really not business focused, I don't talk a lot of sports lingo. I mean, it's just as simple as that. So, I mean, every woman ideally can bring different things to a man's life. And that doesn't mean that that woman is incomplete, that he loves, or any of those women are incomplete. But we tricked ourselves into believing in this culture that one woman has to be every single thing. One woman has to be enough. And I remember telling one of my friend girls, well, we're not friends anymore, but go figure. I remember just telling her, I said, you may be enough for your husband. You may be enough, because I've heard men say, I don't need another you, which is an insult to me, because I'm thinking, like, I don't work your nerves that much where you can't even see yourself dealing with another woman like that. That's not nothing to brag on as a wife. But anyway, I asked her, I say, you may be enough for your husband, but are you enough for your household? Are you enough for your household? What does his household need? And if you are driving yourself crazy, draining yourself. You're borderline depressed because you have so much on your plate. You need to find a way to increase the value of this man's home so that everything in his home is taken care of without it burning you out. That is hypocritical to me when we talk about monogamy. Because in a polygynous union, you have it set up correctly, then all the needs in the household gets taken care of, and everybody can rest when they need to rest. Everybody can have what they need and be taken care of in different measures. And you're not forcing the woman to be one woman to be everything for a household. So I think that it's very hypocritical to be judged that, I don't mind saying, yeah, we need you. Come on, sister. Like, that's fine. And I'm not so eager now because a lot of y'all sisters really, y'all hearts ain't right. Because even in polygyny, when you have been taught and it's been engraved in you that this man is supposed to only love you and only be with you, you bring that same monogamous, selfish mindsets into polygyny. And a lot of times people get hurt because you really don't have the love for your sisterhood and the love for your husband's household that you claim that you do. But that's another lie. So a lot of women live in a false reality of monogamy. A lot of women live in a false reality of monogamy. Like, if you really want to be honest with it, and that's why, and once again, I'm not trying to pick on any monogamous marriages and anything like that, but y'all sure be trying to let polygynists have it. We let some of y'all tell the polygynous women that support polygyny are low self-esteem. How is a woman that will literally seek other women that they can stand by and build a man's household insecure? Do you know how much security you have to have in yourself to be able to work with the next woman, to watch your husband love on the next woman? That's not insecurity. That's not low self-esteem. And granted, some women that have low self-esteem may settle for that, but if they do, they're still going to wreak those emotions behind what you've been taught in monogamy, and that's, I need all your love and all your attention, and I need you just for me, and you can't look at no other woman, you can't text no other woman. I see this craziness all up and down Facebook. Or if your husband liking and commenting on other people's pictures, then something wrong with it. And again, been there, done that. Because as soon as I see this man like hearting other women pictures, I'm going to see how many other pictures he done hearted. I'm going to see, like, I'm driving myself crazy in insecurity because, oh my God, another woman has his attention. Whereas as a biblically supporting polygynous wife, my husband take a phone call, I'm walking out the door. Like, get your privacy. That's not my business. You want to tell me about it? Tell me about it. You don't. I've yet to understand how some of y'all deem that as low self-esteem and insecure, when monogamy is literally, like, for the most part, a field of insecurity. And I share my testimony to be transparent, like, to let y'all know, like, I understand, like, I've been there. Like, I talk about that in My Man and Her Man too. Like, I'm at the club waiting on the man to come out the club to see who he coming out the club with. Should have had my tail at home in the bed, and the kids got the kids out 2:00 in the morning watching him come out the club. Like, he was polygynous. Plain and simple. Now, could he have done it better than? Obviously, yeah. But at the same time, like, we as women don't create the environment for men to just be honest about, because we were taught that you're supposed to be with me and only me, and if you love anybody outside of me, then you don't love me. So are you really monogamous? Is your marriage really monogamous? Or are you just putting a cover up there like it's monogamy, and you're judging those that are shamelessly living in their truth of polygyny? It's hypocritical. It's really hypocritical, because if the man don't want just you, he's polygynous. And if you're forcing him to be monogamous, then you're living a lie, and he's living a lie. So to wrap this up, the hypocrisy of monogamy, which the project will focus on: being a side chick willingly, but then openly, like an open polygynous man, is where you draw the line. Why is that? Because you don't want to look like you're a fool. See, if you sleeping with this man behind closed doors, and it's just you and him, and his wife don't know, you're my little secret, like, come on now. Like, the culture that we have is so crazy, because that was one of the hottest songs I can remember from Escape. You're my little secret. Like, we've thrived off of Secret Lovers. That's another song, right? The blues song, I'm Trapped, I'm Caught Up in the Two-Way Love Affair. Like, our songs, our music, our songs, our movies, our TV shows, you're always seeing the drama and chaos in monogamous situations. And I don't be thinking about monogamy like that to even highlight it. But then when I see how bold and disrespectful y'all get with judging people that are openly polygynous, then yeah, I kind of bring my guns out, because you mean to tell me I'm insecure, but you can't even let your homegirl stay at your house for 3 to 4 months because you don't trust what your man might do with her? Or even more, y'all ain't even posting y'all men no more, because y'all don't want nobody to see it. You don't want nobody to look like a fool, and just in case it come out, you don't want nobody to see him just in case he might be with somebody else. You living a lie. Forgiving and fighting for your marriage after what y'all say is adultery, but then an openly polygynous man who's showing you biblically that this is within his right, is where you draw the line. You got a problem with it. I know for a fact this woman that literally speaks and has judged my family, every year her husband, it then came out with her husband being with another woman. Every single year for years now. And because I understand that hurt behind finding out things like that and feeling like you've been deceived, my heart had compassion for her. But how you gonna sit up here and talk about my husband openly being polygynous, and your husband is like secretly being polygynous with women every single year, and the whole city know about it? That don't add up. Y'all better be careful who y'all put your mouth on. Having multiple babies and baby daddies, but polygyny is where you draw the line. I'm not even gonna get into that, because I'm not gonna get into that. Hiding women. Y'all have no problem with men really hiding women, because some of y'all be okay with that, but polygyny, openly polygyny, is where you draw the line. Women divorcing their perfect husband for being with another woman, but everything else with him is fine. You'll have no other problem. And most of the divorces are initiated by women because they found out about another woman. I was one of those. I was in that statistic. Like, and granted, that wasn't the only thing, but that's pretty much why I drew the line. That was like the cap. Like, okay, we going through all these, and you got other women. Nope. That's why I drew the line. And I'm not the only one. And women have literally told me, well, yeah, if you want to be with another woman, then that's going to be the end of us. But you love this man? He's the father of your kids? And this is so horrible to you that so you're forcing monogamy on him? This is not his natural life. This is not his natural desire to just be with only you. That is very hypocritical. That is very hypocritical to me. So just a little clip, probably gave too much, but it's still gonna be it's gonna be dope. We ain't really sharing a whole lot as we're completing the project, which is pretty much almost done. We'll share a little bit more. I thought my husband would have been made it back by now, but he's not. So we'll definitely be giving y'all some intel as much as we feel led. Gotta be a little bit more careful. But this project is going to be dope. All it is to really highlight, once again, patriarchy, biblical marriage, and polygyny as a biblical solution, which was the purpose of My Man Is Her Man 2, the first book, examining biblical polygyny as a community solution, not just for a man to have women that he can have sex with, which if they're his wives and the marriage bed is undefiled, then why are you worried about him wanting to get married to have sex? Whatever. Not just for all these other like miscellaneous things and judgments that y'all come up with, but honestly to rebuild this community. We have a lot of women that literally need to be covered, but you have to understand that, and this is why I did want him here, because maybe he didn't need to be here because he probably gonna see it way meaner. But a lot of us as women, we are requiring things from men that we really shouldn't be, especially if you're not gonna be willing to give him what his household needs. And I talked about this last week, so I'm not gonna go back into that. But yeah, Poly by Nature. Get ready, stay tuned. We'll have some more information out as time sees fit. I'm not gonna say soon, but as time sees fit, as what we believe the Spirit sees fit for us to release it. But Poly by Nature is coming, and it's gonna be on fire. Because we're just really addressing our community and the issues in our community. Like, he and I both have a heart for family. Like, we want to see families restored. We want to see families built. Like, we really do have a heart for family. And so a lot of the things that we deal with, they're very touchy topics, but at the same time, they're things that need to be addressed, because without addressing those things, we don't get to bring solutions into our community. And I do believe prophetically that polygyny is a community solution because of the scriptures. But I also believe that, you know, a lot of the drama, a lot of the things that we have going on in our community when it comes to women always being bickering over men and all that stuff, it don't have to be that. Like, it does not have to be that. And I've had several situations where I'm like, man, like the lady that was waiting on my ex-husband to leave me as soon as I found out about her, like, in a way pure situation done biblically, like, that could have been a righteous situation. You shouldn't have had to fight for this man, and I shouldn't have had to fight to keep him from your attention. And not like we don't need to be doing it. We really don't. Nothing in the scriptures give us permission to do that. So I hope that I've kind of put something on your minds in that sense, not to be offensive. Have nothing against monogamy. If you are righteously monogamous, then hey, that's you. You know, I will say, and My Man Is Her Man too, part 2 is going to talk about this, that as a sister, my eyes have been open to the understanding that how can I say that I love my sister and I want my sister, but my husband is where I draw the line. I am healed. I'm happy. I am literally like in love and receive love from my husband. Like I can't even express the magnitude of gratefulness that I am for my marriage and the husband that I have. And I watch single women that don't have the same thing, and it really, really saddens me. Like it really saddens me because, and maybe it's my willingness to see it as the Most High sees it, or maybe He's giving me that revelation, that love. But there's no way that I can say, if my sister really needs a covering, and which I believe that we all do, but if my sister needs a covering and she just so happens to also like the covering that I have, that I could just say, oh no, you can't, that's what I can't trust you and you don't ever come around. Like that's very selfish. Like that's not the spirit of love that I believe that we should have for each other. And that is what the next part of Highly by Nature, the book, will talk about, is sisterhood. Because since being in this lifestyle, since opening my eyes to this lifestyle, yeah, a lot of y'all women just downright trifling. Like y'all trifling. Like y'all real trifling. Y'all do not care about each other. You want what you want and you will go by any means to get it. And then when you can't have your way, all hell breaks loose. And don't bring that into a righteous, peaceful environment that really is only looking to benefit you. So I'm gonna talk about that more in my book, and I may be talking about the book a little bit more because it'll literally be ready pretty soon as I wrap up some heartfelt things, and I'll share a little bit about my experience in being open to women in a more emotional capacity to say, hey, you know, I'm here to be a sister to you. But a lot of you as women are not ready for polygyny because you're selfish. You're selfish and you're really just downright evil and manipulative. I'm just gonna call it a spade, a snake a snake. A lot of y'all just no. But that's another live for another day. I am Zoe D. You can find me on all social media platforms at Zoe D Speaks. You can access my titles, witnesslegend.com/Zoe D Speaks. You can also just Google me, Zoe D Speaks. So until next time, be peace, be light, be love.